Hi and welcome to Outwell and to the Biscayne 6 from the Superior Collection. This is a 3-room tunnel design tent which is large and spacious. It has 2 bedrooms across the back to sleep up to 6 people. And something that makes this tent stand out for me is the fact that you can actually customise this tent to suit your every need. We have a few different styles of pods available which we'll talk you through later on, which can be attached onto the side of the tent. As I say, customising this tent for your every need. And that's really down to the type of frame that we use here. Again, we'll go into more detail slightly later on, but it allows us to have these sort of eyebrow poles where you can attach the pods onto. This also gives a great opportunity to have good ventilation throughout the tent, again, which we'll show you in more detail shortly. A really nice feature of the tent is this front area here where we have this full canopy which is pre-attached to the tent, and these side walls giving you really good protection here. So you can see on a nice sunny day like today, you can actually sit in here and get a little bit of shade. Also, if it's a little bit drizzly, then you can get in here and get shelter from that as well. Really good space out here as well for things like kitchen storage units and things if you wanted to. Stepping into the main tent itself, you'll see the door itself is a good size, so getting all of your kit in and out of the tent is going to be pretty easy. The door itself is just rolled away at the moment. Obviously that can be fully zipped closed, and it's got large windows on there with curtains for your privacy too. Just tucked away behind that at the moment, you'll see that we do have a full mesh door for this front panel as well, which we can just zip closed. Again, giving great ventilation in the tent, but hopefully keeping out those sort of unwanted insects. Another nice feature here is that this entire wall can be completely opened up. If you did want to sort of bring a little bit of the outside into your tent, then this whole thing can be opened up with the zip that goes around here. You'll also see that we do have mesh panels as well when it's closed, so again, good ventilation opportunities. You have curtains behind here too, again for our privacy, and also on the 2 windows here as well. So if you just follow me into the tent, you'll see that there's certainly plenty of space here. I'm quite tall at about 195 centimetres, and you can see above me I still have plenty of head height here. Lots of room inside the tent as well for things like furniture and storage and things like this too. That's really helped, I think, by all the windows that really surround you in the tent, allowing lots of light in here, making it feel that little bit more spacious. I'll just point out, each window does have its own curtain, so if you do want privacy, you can just see here at the moment, we have it rolled away. But what you'll find with this is that you can just choose exactly how much privacy or how much light is going to come into the tent, thanks to the fact that the curtains actually zip up into place. While I'm also here, I'd just like to point out the ventilation that I mentioned earlier on. So with that sort of style of frame on the outside, that allows us to have these really nice ventilation panels at the top here, which you can just see if you wanted to, you could actually open up fully, or we can have them closed with just the mesh, or you can see as well that there is a curtain to close that if it does just get a little bit too chilly for you. At the back of the tent is where you'll find the bedrooms, and as I said earlier on, there are 2, and these can sleep up to 6 people. A really nice feature here is that these bedrooms actually come pre-attached, so the first time you come to pitch this tent, you've got one less job to do because these bedrooms are already there for you. The way that they're attached to the tent is using our wave-shaped hanging point system. You can see this has been colour coordinated with the colours of the tent, which to me just gives a real sort of interior design sort of feature to it. It does also have a nice function as well, in that across the top seam of the bedroom you'll find there is no stress points because it's suspended all the way around using that mesh system there. Some other features then to highlight on the bedrooms would be the fact that we have large mesh ventilation panels on the doors themselves. You can just see on the one that we have closed here. These do have curtains just behind them, so again, if you wanted that little bit of privacy within the bedroom, then you can just zip that up, or if it's a little bit too chilly. You'll also find on the outside we have these storage pockets, great for your smaller possessions. And then just in between here, there is actually a zip between these 2 bedrooms, which forms part of our universal inners, which we'll now show you how they work. Another feature on the front of the doors here is that all the way around the zips, you'll just notice here that we actually have this colour coordinated piping. Now that looks very nice, but also again is functional in that it's just really easy to open and close this zip. You'll just see how easy that is there without the zipper catching on any material. Inside the bedroom, lots of features to tell you about here too. Across the back we have a large ventilation panel which corresponds with outside ventilation on the fly sheet. Down in the back left corner you'll find that we have some storage pockets here, again ideal for smaller personal possessions. You'll also just find that the bedrooms themselves are separated with this full sheet which zips all the way around here, so that we can manage to either have it as 2 bedrooms as is, or we can fully open that up to create one large bedroom. You'll also just find that the ceiling as well is in the darker fabric, so that's going to just hopefully keep you sleeping a little bit longer in the mornings too. You'll also notice a nice feature on this bedroom is that from the inner tent there's actually a door that can be opened up which leads into another entrance, which does have a full window on there, again with a zipped curtain too. Now that's a really good place to add some of the storage pods that we do, perhaps something like the storage pod or the sleeping pod. Moving on from there, we'll just take you up to the top of the tent. You'll find in the middle we have a lantern hanging point, and then leading away from that we have some cable tidies which run all the way down. Just behind this table here you'll find our cable entry point. This is an ideal location to bring your electrics into the tent, just to save you running any cables through open doors. So the ground sheet in this tent is actually fully sealed from front to back and side to side as well. It's a really good quality, tough material. It's a double coated polyethylene, totally waterproof with a hydrostatic head of 10,000 millimeters. It's also bathtub in style, so it comes up a little bit around the edges. And that's just going to keep out any drafts, keep out any sort of dust and sand and dirt and things like that. And more importantly, hopefully keep out those unwanted creepy crawlies too. So as well as the entrance at the back of the tent, there's actually one on either side of it as well. You can see this one here is closed at the moment with the full mesh door closing that. And then over on this side here, we've got the door open. You can see again the mesh door for this one is also in place. But then what we have done here is just to show you, we've added in the cuisine pod, which can be bought separately of course. Stepping outside of the tent, there's certainly another huge amount of features that I can take you through, including the fly sheet itself, which is our Outex 6000 material. Now this is a 75 denier taffeta polyester, so it's very good quality. It has been fully PU coated on the inside of it, and also all of the seams all over the fly sheet have also been fully taped, making it completely waterproof with a hydrostatic head of 6,000 millimeters. Now I did mention the frame earlier on, but I'll just go into a little bit more detail now. So what you have is from front to back a steel frame in place, so that's going to give you a real good solid and stable structure. But then what we have is these fiberglass poles, which are of course our Duratec fiberglass poles, connecting each individual steel section. Now what that does is actually create a full freestanding tunnel design tent. So if you wanted to, you could pick the entire tent up and move it exactly into the position that you want to on your site. But more importantly, as I pointed out earlier on, it also gives us these nice sort of eyebrow shaped poles on the side here, which then allows us to have the ventilation, which we showed you the detail of from inside. And it also allows us to add zips on certain areas of the tent for you to be able to customize it, as I said, to suit your every need. Another nice feature on the frame is the use of our wind stabilizer system, which you can just see here. So when it comes to setting up the tent, all we have to do is very simply take this and wrap it around like so, and then pop the Velcro tab into place like this. You find them at the top and at the bottom of every pole all the way along from the tent, and this is then where we have our guy lines attached. So when we pull out the guy lines and peg them into position, what's going to happen is the entire fly sheet of the tent is going to come up against the frame. It's going to be much more taut, and actually it's going to be much more stable. So you can be safe in the knowledge to know that this tent is going to be market leading when it comes to stability in high wind conditions. The guy lines that we use here are our classic Outwell guy lines, which are luminous, so that should stop you from tripping over them when it gets a little bit darker. Each one of them has their own retainer, just like this here. So when it comes to packing down the tent, we can simply wrap up the guy lines in our hands and pop them in here, so that the next time you come to use it, you don't have a big tangled mess of guy lines that you have to waste your time untangling. We also then use our easy pegging system on this tent here. This is where we supply you with 3 different styles of pegs. We have the solid steel anchor pegs, which would be used on the corners of the tent. We have the luminous pegs here, which would go along with the luminous guy lines, and we also have the black pegs here for all of the rest of the pegging points, which are handily colour-coded black. So in the name, easy pegging system, makes it nice and easy to make sure that you get the right peg in the right place. Certainly plenty of optional extras available for this tent, and I'll now just run you through them. So I mentioned earlier on we have a few different types of pods for you to be able to customise, of which there are 4. So we have a side pod, which is a nice side entrance. We have a storage pod, ideal for off the bedrooms or even off the main living area. We have a cuisine pod, again as a food preparation sort of area. And we also have a 2-person sleeping pod for those times where you may have extra people coming along with you, or maybe if your family is expanded, you don't need to buy a new tent, you can simply buy a new sleeping pod for it. We also then have a footprint to go under the ground sheet for the tent, and we also have a carpet for the living area, just giving you that more luxurious feel inside the tent. And we also have a front awning available if you wanted to expand the overall size of the tent as well. So there you have it, that's all the optional extras and all those features from the Biscayne 6 of our Superior collection. Thank you very much for watching.